last week or 2 weeks ago was to contact our local government to get our local government to tell Salazar to do the deal.
Yep. Yeah, that's the approach that he, Salazar's asked the local governments what they think. As you all know, Archuleta County expressed some concerns in a letter to Congressman Salazar. So far as I know, the town council has not taken a position one way or the other. So I would encourage you to do the same thing, to weigh in with your local elected officials. But I think, as is clear, I think a different approach is more appropriate than the legislative land exchange.
Have you
I think
guys
there's
put together some
another
recommendations?
Hmm?
Like, you guys, as a group, just some recommendations that if they followed them, you guys would be behind them?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand exactly what you mean.
Have you guys, instead of just, pointing out what they've done wrong, maybe
Yeah.
you can give them some solutions, say, well, if you guys would do this and this and this, we'd like to get behind you and be in partnership with you. Have you guys?
We actually have sat down with Clinton and said, if you guys go down the road of the Forest Service process, the public process, we would be happy to sit down with you and try to negotiate something that we can all live with, or at least make. And we've had a bunch of conversations with him, so he understands our concerns as much, and how to avoid them, and so on and so forth. We've had much more open conversations with him. But we're just one organization. We're not the fire department here, and we're not the county commissioners in Rio Grande County. And so I don't think it's appropriate for Colorado Wild to cut a deal with the developer and cut the public out of it, just as I don't think it's appropriate for Congress to cut a deal with the developer and cut the public out of it. I think the developer owes it to everybody to go through a legitimate process and hear everybody out and try to address everybody's concerns. And so that's where we've been really pushing them down to go down the Forest Service administrative process.
And in that process, decide whether a land exchange is good or bad.
Exactly.
You just keep the same land or
Yeah.
go over a little bit because that's better.
Exactly.
Just look at the whole
Maybe it's a
process.
little bigger, maybe it's a little smaller. Maybe there's some money that gets put in a fund for wildlife crossings or for school districts or for wetlands or for who knows what. But but
Well, we certainly, as real, most of us realtors or business people here, we look to something like that as an economic boost for our economy.
absolutely.
And so we're looking kind of down the road that might be a good thing for Pagosa and South
Yes.
Fork.
Yep.
But at the same time, most of us, I think, live here because, at heart, I think we're all a little bit environmentalists at heart, because that's why we live here.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't want to screw something up
Yep.
for a fast buck. So I think we want to see a balance where, okay, it'd be nice to have a little village up there that
Sure.
brought some economic boost to Pagosa Springs. But we don't want to screw up the world by having something up there that's going to really be a bad thing.
Exactly, and I'd like to think that the village could be a good thing for Pagosa Springs, economically.
Well, we think it would be economically
I
good,
think,
but
I think it could be if it was done right.
If it was-
It was the right scale.
Well, maybe
and
the
it didn't
EIS.
overwhelm the ski area and swamp it with people, so nobody else wanted to go there. I think that potential exists, but I don't think it automatically is the case that building a village up there is automatically going to be good for Pagosa Springs. And for that and I base that opinion based on conversations I've had with a lot of local business owners that are really concerned that the competition that they'll see from a village up there is going to really impact their businesses that are established here, whether that's in hotels and motels or shops and things of that nature. So those are the kind of issues that I think really need some careful consideration of what the right scale of the village is, how much commercial goes up there versus just residential, what types of commercial make sense there that complement what's already available here, what percentage of timeshare versus rental pool versus single family versus townhome, that's a complement to the the existing real estate opportunities and businesses here in the existing communities. I'd rather have that conversation up front rather than try to do it on the tail end after McCombs has already got the momentum of Congress's approval. We're going forward. But he's been trying.
You mentioned that you had estimated that McCombs had spent around 12 million so far. How much
Yeah.
has Colorado Wild spent?
Colorado Wild's been an organization since 1998, and we just spent our millionth dollar as an organization. But on the Wolf Creek project itself, I believe it's probably been, I am estimating here, $200,000. And when we spend money, it's just staff time. It's my time to come over here and talk to a group like this. We've had the benefit of having some attorneys that have helped us out on a pro bono basis. We haven't had to spend money on attorneys' fees over the years. It's putting information on a website. It's spending time digging through, what was some 40,000 pages of documents on the last EIS process to dig up the information that made it clear to us that EIS wasn't really being done in the public's interest. But it's been a big initiative for us.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys have other questions. I'm sure I forgot some stuff on here, but yeah. I guess I'll just leave you with that question of thinking through what makes the most sense for the public in terms of these two land exchange processes. Thanks a lot. And I really feel like whether you like the village or don't like the village, regardless, that the administrative process is really a preferable one.